This is my wife's BMW F31 320 M Sport, but it hasn't always looked this way. I bought it from Copart as a Category S 5 years ago. Since then I've been fighting to keep it on the road, from broken breather pipes and worn suspension to a faulty window regulator and ABS sensors, and now it's back in the garage with a list of problems that need to be addressed. It needs a fresh oil change and some desperately needed discs and pads. With electrical problems and with the mileage hitting 112,000, the BMW is starting to show its age. Things never go to plan when working on cars, so I hope I can fix all the issues and get the BMW back up and running again. So this is the first time the BM has been on the ramp, and I wasn't sure if it would fit or if it would even lift it. After all, it's only running on solar power. The BM is one of the biggest cars I've had in the garage. With its low ground clearance and length, it wasn't easy getting it on the ramp in the first place. So the first task of the day is to drain all the old oil out of the engine, ready for fresh oil to go in. The sump plug is a 70mm bolt and it's located under this neat little flap, so there's no need to take off the whole under tray. I can leave all the old oil draining while I can start working on those crusty brakes. From the front, these brakes don't look that bad, but because my wife only does it on average 6,000 miles a year, the brakes have rusted before they've had a chance to wear out. So to remove the disc, we need to first remove the brake caliper. To remove the caliper, we need to remove the retaining clip that holds the brake pads. I use a screwdriver for this and it just pops off. Next, I use a 8mm hex socket to remove the slide pins that are hidden behind the plastic dust cover. These hold the front part of the brake caliper in place, and if you were just changing the brake pads, then that's all you would need to remove. The axis can be tight, so if you turn the front wheels outwards, that will give you loads more room. With the slide pins removed, I can now remove the brake caliper. I use my trusty screwdriver just to help pry it off, as these can be quite tight. Just remember to try and support the brake caliper with some cable ties or bungee rope, as these brake lines are still connected. Next up, I use an 18mm socket to remove the two bolts holding the caliper carrier. This is the final part that needs to be removed to gain access to the brake disc. Then it's just one T30 torque screw to undo, and if you're lucky, it will come off without rounding off. So it was time to buy some new parts for the BM. The one thing I hate buying is the brake discs and pads. There's so many different fitment sizes, it's hard to find the correct ones online. That's why I use my local motor care. They supply excellent quality replacement parts at reasonable prices. With access to manufacturers' diagrams and parts lists, you guaranteed they will be able to find the correct parts for your car. Now that all the oil is finished draining from the sump, I can fit the sump plug back in place with a new copper washer ready to put in the fresh oil. The sump plug is then torqued up to 30 Newton meters. And I used a little bit of brake cleaner and a paper towel to clean up any remaining dirty oil and close the flap. Now to dispose of the old oil, I use this old oil container, then take the container to my local recycling centre. You may need to check with your local authority first to see if they accept motor oil. With summer fast approaching and the family wanting to go out on day trips, there's nothing worse than those unexpected breakdowns or car troubles spoiling the fun. That's why having a reliable car is essential for those long road trips. But how do you ensure your car is always road trip ready and in tip-top health?
That's where this video's sponsor, Carly, comes in handy. Carly is your ultimate car companion, providing diagnostics, real-time engine data, and easy to follow repair and maintenance guides, all in one app. With Carly, you can stay ahead of potential issues before they become costly problems. Carly is revolutionizing the automotive world with cutting-edge technology, giving car owners control and transparency over their vehicle's health. Connecting to your car is super easy. Just plug it into your OBD2 port and open up the app and connect it via Bluetooth. And there you go, it's that simple.
Once connected, you can select what car you want to scan from the drop down boxes. Also, you can create reports from those cars saved and build up a history log. This is the great part. You can then share your findings with a friend or mechanic, and this should speed up the whole fault finding process, or in some cases prevent something even more serious from occurring. So once you've selected the car you want to scan, just connect it to the universal scanner via Bluetooth, and in next to no time you're ready to scan your car and check its health. Just for now, I want to quickly scan the BMW to see if there's any serious faults that I don't know about. Just by scanning your car on a regular basis, you're going to stay ahead of the game and catch those small faults before they become even bigger problems. Having Carly as an app on your phone makes life so much easier. There's no more trying to find a Wi-Fi signal or creating a mobile hotspot. Everything is all in one place. Trying to find out what a particular code even means can take ages, but this fantastic little app does all the hard work for you. It will give you a brief description of the fault and where to start in the fault finding process. There seems to be a few faults with the BMW, but some of these codes could just be old stored codes or from a previous flat battery. Just by clearing the codes can fix most issues, and with the reminder feature, Carly will remind you again in a few days to scan the car. That way you can see if any codes are returned. This app is packed full of features including coding. It's really easy and safe to use. Before you even start coding, Carly makes an automatic backup, so you can always revert back if it goes wrong or doesn't work. Carly coding is only available with BMW, Mini, VW, Audi, Skoda and Seat. But don't worry, Carly still has a wide range of features that cover other manufacturers. You can code things like lights, door locks, folding wing mirrors, seatbelt chimes, the list goes on and on. Now check out my Audi S1 that I bought from a salvage auction. A cracking feature is the used car check. If I was to buy the Audi privately, I could have used Carly to check the mileage history and see if it's ever been tampered with. Carly checks the odometer to see if the mileage has been altered in any way and even gives you the average mileage for the year, including graphs. You can also check the car's VIN number to see if it matches the car you're looking at.
So why not give Carly a try? Use our code REV15. That's REV15 for 15% off your purchase. Download the Carly app today and take control of your car's health like never before. Thank you to Carly for sponsoring this video.
So to fit the new brake pads, we need to wind back the caliper to accommodate the new pads. But before we can fit the pads, we need to take the cap off the brake reservoir to allow the brake fluid to flow back up to the pipes and into the reservoir. By doing this, it will help the piston to be wound back easier. On this BM, the brake reservoir is located under the plastic scuttle panel on the driver's side. To remove the panel, there are 3 10mm plastic nuts that only need half a turn to undo the panel. Now that I've got access to the brake reservoir, unscrew the cap and make sure you put some paper towels down or a cloth around the top, just to make sure you don't spill any over the engine bay. Now it's the reverse of what you just did. Just make sure all the parts have been cleaned up and add some silicone grease where necessary, and remembering to fit the anti-rattle spring once you're finished. Do you know, I love fitting new parts. Don't half make a difference to the look and feel of a car. You can now see how bad them crusty old brakes really were. There was a time when I didn't even have the confidence to fix brakes or any other jobs on my car, so I just used to pay a garage to do the work for me, but that was so expensive. Being extremely dyslexic, I found reading manuals and following instructions very difficult, as the information wouldn't sink in. With no mechanical experience whatsoever, I started watching how-to videos on YouTube. For some reason, I was able to take that information in and start doing things for myself. And with each job, step by step, I gained the confidence to complete those difficult tasks on my own. Just keep pushing and taking yourself out of your comfort zone. And if you're like me, then you will find your own way of doing things. And you'll soon be doing those big hard jobs. I never thought I would still be doing this 5 years later. I'm just following my dream of doing YouTube full time. And with your support, one day I might just get there. So now I've drained the oil out, I need to replace the oil filter. So to remove the oil filter housing, I use this low profile 27mm socket, and the filter is located under these pipes. You can see from the filter it looks new, and that's because I try and keep up with regular oil changes, just to keep the engine in good health. Place the filter back in the same way it came out, and torque in the filter cap to 25 Newton meters. The oil I've chosen is this Manol brand 5W30, and the engine will take roughly 5.2 litres. Now I've used this brand before with no issues. Others, like the more expensive brands, I'm not too fussy as long as it works. Now when I'm servicing my cars, I like to add some fresh antifreeze. This is made by Napa and it's the correct one for the car.
Most modern cars, including BMWs, no longer have a dipstick. This makes checking the oil very difficult. So normally you'd have to get the car to operating temperature and check the onboard computer. But we're very lucky that the engine still has this rare old school feature, making it way more quicker and easier to check if the oil is at the right level. Next up, it's time to replace the air filter. Swapping it out regularly helps improve fuel efficiency, optimize engine performance, and extend engine life, and it even reduces emissions. A small maintenance step that makes a massive difference.
Another issue with the car is the passenger side headlight is out. The frustrating part, it's a xenon headlight, which means you can't just replace one, you must do both. Otherwise, they won't match and it's just not a good look. To fix the headlight issue, I've already replaced the passenger side bulb and went with this Amino Basic D1S xenon bulb, which are 12 volt, 35 watt. I bought them from Autodoc for $15.75 each, which is an absolute bargain. Hopefully they'll do the job and keep everything looking fresh and evenly matched. Now let's show you how to replace the driver's side. Replacing the headlight bulb on this car isn't exactly straightforward. First you have to access the flap in the wheel arch liner, twist the plastic cover on the back of the headlight to reveal the headlight bulb. Before removing the bulb, the power connection needs to be disconnected and moved aside. Then release the retaining clip that holds the bulb in place. Carefully remove the old bulb. Now it's time to insert the new bulb, being very careful not to damage it. Secure it with the retaining clip, reconnect the power connection and finally reattach the cover. A bit of a hassle but worth it for perfectly matched headlights.
If you have a keen eye, you might have noticed this issue. There seems to be something wrong with the right rear brake light. So let's find out what this issue actually is.
Now another problem I've been having is this light. Now that's supposed to be the indicator flashing, not the brake light or the side light. Also the brake light doesn't work when pressed. It's coming up on the dashboard. So to have a look at this, you need to undo these 10mm bolts that's holding it on there, and then you just pull it out. When pulling it out, I broke that, so you've got to be really careful. So I'll just show you this. Basically what's happened is that section there, one of the pins has snapped off inside, causing it to arc out and causing a bad earth, which is causing it to play up with the rest of the bulbs. Now this on its own, which is at fault, is 50 quid. Because I've broken that trying to get it off by accident, dual light is 50 quid, so I bought dual light. So when you're pulling this off, you've got to pull it off. Just be careful. I was pulling it there and I snapped it. So just be very careful, guys, when you're taking the light off. Let me go and get another light to see if it makes any difference. Now this is a second-hand one. Like I said, 50 quid. I'm hoping just plugging this in is going to work. There. Now it's flashing fast is because the wing mirror indicator is broken as well. Now these little dowels go inside there, so just be careful when putting it back in. I just put this cover back over the top of it. Now if you look, that's flashing fast and the indicator in the mirror is not working. So I bought new ones to go in here, so I'm going to replace that next.
First, you'll need to remove the mirror to gain access to the screws that hold the mirror in place. Using a trim tool, carefully pry it off, starting from the top and working your way around. Be gentle, as the mirror can easily break. Once the mirror is removed, you'll need to undo the cover to gain access to another set of screws. The cover is held in with 3 plastic clips.
There you go, them clips there, on top, one there. So you got 3 clips and then just pops off.
Once removed, you will see the screws securing the indicator lamp unit. These are small Torx screws. Unscrew them and disconnect the wiring connector attached to the back of the unit. At this point, you can remove the faulty indicator. Once the replacement is in place, reassemble everything by securing the lamp unit, tightening the screws and reconnecting the wiring, and carefully snapping the mirror cover back on. This process requires patience and precision to avoid damaging the clips or electrical components.
I think these indicator lights are a fantastic little upgrade for this old BM. The dynamic sweeping effect adds a sleek modern touch that really elevates the look of the car. It's a small change, but it makes a big difference, giving the F31 a fresh and updated feel. I'm really happy with how they turned out. Let me know what you think in the comments below. One major drawback of this car is the alloy wheels. When the car was initially repaired, one of the wheels was damaged and needed to be resprayed, but this left it noticeably different from the other 3. Unfortunately, due to time constraints, I never got around to fixing it, and it has been a lingering issue in the back of my mind for a while. While it doesn't affect the car's performance, it does take away from the overall aesthetic appeal. I've now decided to have all 4 wheels refurbished in a traditional BMW gunmetal colour, giving the car a fresh, uniform and more premium look. I'll also be replacing the centre caps with new ones from eBay, which will further enhance the refreshed appearance of the alloys.
I just want to take a moment to thank each and every single one of our members on the channel. Your continued support means the absolute world to us. If you want to become a member today and become part of the Valley's crew, where you will gain loyalty badges, receive shoutouts, and behind the scenes sneak peeks of what's to come and other cool stuff, then smash the hell out of the join button and become part of the family today. Whilst you're there, you may as well click that subscribe button too, because if I'm being honest, your support makes all of this possible.
Hell of a week. I've had 3 cars break down on me in a matter of days. My wife's car was in the garage with the wheels off, couldn't use it. Tom's car, the power steering fluid is leaking all out of it and I had no power steering. And I mean, it's a hell of a leak, it's just pouring out as soon as you start the engine. There. And the Audi S1 has got a problem with it. The engine is cut out on it and won't start, or will start, and then cuts out again and then idles erratically. So I got to do a video on that, and then I got Fiat 500, or Fiat 500, don't even work, so let's get the car out.
I've got to be honest, these alloy wheels look absolutely mint. The full refurbishment in the classic BMW M3 gunmetal colour, along with the new centre caps, have completely transformed the look of the car. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below.
Another thing that's annoying about the car at the moment is the boot latch won't open. It'll work if you press the fob and inside, but from outside you press the switch and it won't work. I think a very common issue with these is this plastic bit here. Breaks off. So when you press the switch, nothing happens, which is really annoying. Press it with the fob, it's still really annoying. So I've just gone with a pry tool and just pried it out and it's just come out. So I literally that works now. When you press the switch, it's not touching the switch like. So I've just removed the switch from there because it comes already built in inside. This switch has been like this for ages. That's another job I've been putting off for the sake of £10 from eBay. I'm fixed in less than 10 minutes and the wife will be well happy. Next, I've replaced the pollen filter and it's located under the passenger side glove compartment. And now that's everything completed. I can now hand over the keys back to my wife so I can crack on with my other projects. I thought that was it, it's sorted, it's back again. When she was driving it before we come in the garage, every now and again you'd have a traction control light flickering on and off and that was it. Now it's got to the point that every light on the dashboard is coming on basically. So I've literally just finished Tom's car, it's just gone out the garage. And now this one's back again. I haven't even been able to touch this and this will start and cut out, so I can't seem to get a break to crack on with these cars. That's all this car does, is beep you for everything. So when I've scanned the car, we got numerous faults. That was one of the faults that was coming up before. That's the sensor, I think. This is what I'm scared about, is because it's showing all the sensors. So I hope it's not the ABS module that's gone. Direction of travel cannot be determined. Invalid transmitter. So after resetting, I'm still getting all these codes. So I just don't know where to start. So I'm going to have a look at the sensors themselves on the back. And the reason why I say the back is because I've had problems with the ABS coming on before, similar kind of faults. And it turned out I had it in the garage. He done the wheel bearings because it was the wheel bearings were at fault. It could be anything causing this problem, so I'm gonna have a quick look at it. I'm gonna take the jacket up, the jack out of the back, take the rear wheels off and have a look. That's what I can do for now. I'm removing the ABS sensor to see if there's any marks or scoring on the sensor that would indicate a reluctor ring issue. A reluctor ring is a toothed ring mounted on the end of a drive shaft just behind the wheel hub that interacts with the ABS sensor to determine the wheel speed. If there is corrosion on the drive shaft, it could create an imbalance and potentially trigger the traction control light. When removing the ABS sensor, it's usually secured with a single torque screw. Be careful not to round it off. Once the screw is removed, gently use a screwdriver to pry the sensor away from the hub. This can be challenging as the sensor is often stubborn and difficult to remove. Now looking at this sensor, there doesn't seem to be any damage to it, but it is the original one, so I'm going to replace it and see if it makes any difference. I've just replaced this sensor here. I plugged it in there. So plugged in. So I just want to see if it's a sensor that's causing this issue. Sadly, after replacing the sensor, it didn't make any difference to the errors on the dashboard and they would not clear. I thought by replacing the sensor, it might fix the fault and it's the cheapest option first. That's until I spot this. So I've looked at the other side hasn't worked, it's still got the cords on. But I'm looking at this here, I've just unplugged it from there. I'm looking at this. I don't know if you can see that. I don't think there's any cable in that plug at all. It's disintegrated and corroded away. It looks like the wiring loom that runs from the rear of the car has suffered corrosion and the blue wire is badly damaged, causing a communication fault between the sensor. What I found strange is it didn't flag up the fault on the left side for ABS sensor and the plug is well hidden behind the arch liner. Luckily I've spotted it. So I'm going to cut the damaged plug out and the plug from the ABS sensor and join them both together and see if the lights go out on the dash. That's all I've done for now is just join the wires together just to make a connection while the lights have gone off. So that's all I've done. Just join them wires like that for a minute just to see if it worked, and it's worked. So I know it's that plug, that's that fault. So I'm going to obviously make a better connection than that. Who would have guessed that this little plug could have caused so many faults? I will be making a temporary fix on these plugs for now until I can source a new plug and solder it in correctly. All this work just to keep the BMW on the road for another year. Everything needed to be fixed as the car was due an MOT, and I'm pleased to say that the BMW was passed with no advisories. Every year brings a new challenge when it comes to keeping my cars on the road. It's a constant battle of maintenance, repairs and unexpected surprises. After finally getting Tom's car back up and running and sorting out my wife's BMW, I thought I'd earned a well-deserved break. But of course, the automotive gods have other plans. I can't ignore the dark cloud that's looming over this BMW's future. It's the engine. And not just any engine, the infamous N47 engine. If you know, you know. One part comes to mind, the timing chain. This engine has a reputation and not a good kind. Timing chain failures on the N47 engine are legendary for all the wrong reasons. At some point I will have to face the music. Do I roll up my sleeves and tackle the job myself, or do I bite a bullet and pay a mechanic? That decision, however, is a problem for another day. For now, I'm just going to enjoy the drive, take in the scenery and pretend, just for a little while, that everything is fine.
Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, be sure to check out the video that's on the screen right now. Don't forget to subscribe and drop a comment. It really helps this community grow. Your continued support honestly means so much. We will see every single one of you legends in the next video.